All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm just gonna, Jake. I'll let you intro everything while I just send out a message to the group to let people know that we are live. Okay.
Perfect. Hello and welcome everyone to another Monday morning episode of the Tribecast with your devilishly handsome hosts, myself and Lewis. Today we're going to be talking about all things motivation, how to kickstart your week in the most positive way possible, and how to inevitably have to succeed this week. All right, progressing in both inside and outside the gym. I'm going to be covering multiple avenues, I'm sure, in terms of how to really get yourself kickstarted and motivated for the week. And just be productive and achieve your goals and do everything that you've set out to achieve. Just getting some messages sent out to our group at the moment, and then we'll get right into it, baby. Also, if you are tuning in live through YouTube, then please jump on board in the chat. Tell us how you're going to kickstart your week and ultimately get off to a really good start. Give us some conversation topics as well if you're feeling daring enough. Perfect.
There we go. Right, just send a message.
Wonderful. Right, messages has been sent. We are ready to go. Let's get some members.
Yeah, bro.
Wonderful.
All right. Okay, so we are good. Well, good. Right. Okay. Cool. So, what we're going to be covering today, then, a few topics. One thing I wanted to touch on before we even start, right? And I heard this really cool quote yesterday, and I thought, oh my god, this is so relevant to people in the gym, right? This is so relevant to like the experience of being a coach for like 12 years. And there's this really, really cool quote that I heard. It wasn't even a quote; it was more of a conversation between two people. You know, Alex Hormozy, obviously. And Alex Hormozy was having a chat with a guy who ran a business it was worth something like, I don't know, 25 million or something. And this guy was like, I just want to, like, Alex, like, I want to get my business to a point where I could sell it. And I just want to go travel. I want to do anything but this. This is all I've been doing for the last 10 years. And Alex was like, cool. All right. You want to go travel? That's fine. What would you do when you're done traveling? Well, I don't know. I just have a break. He was like, cool. And what happens when the break is up? He's like, don't know. He goes, you'd work. You'd absolutely work. You just start the same thing back up again. And the guy was like, I don't know. And he was like, no, you would, because you'd be bored. And we always want what we don't have. So people who have kids ultimately want to get rid of the kids for a couple of days so they can have some time to themselves. People without kids want kids. People who work don't want to work. People who don't have work want to work. Right. So there's this thing in the human body where it's you always want what you don't have. And I thought when I was listening to this thing, I was like, oh my God, that's so relevant to people that are going through transformations. I've seen it time and time again, which is somebody, when they first start, they don't have the physique or the discipline that they want. So they inherently join the gym and they start their journey and they get going through it and they start to see results and they get happy with the results, and they get the outcome that they want. Then they get bored and then they go, I'd do anything other than the gym, to be honest. And then we've seen it multiple times where as soon as they stop, they start going back in the opposite direction. Instantaneously, 3 months down the line, why did I stop? Like I've gone back on everything. I really miss being in shape. And there's this level of understanding of actually where you're at right now. And you have to, it's something that I didn't even realize because I was going through like a demotivated day. I was really tired. When I'm tired, I'm like hyper emotional. And I just remember thinking, there are so many things I'm thankful for, like having the muscle tissue that I have now, which I didn't have when I first started, or having a gym, having a coaching business, being able to have the problems that I'm dealing with on a daily basis now off the back of us being at a point in our business where we are, that I take all of that for granted all the time. And I focus on the challenges ahead of me. and the challenge is to gain the next 2 pounds of muscle, for example, or to get the next level lean. But I don't appreciate where I'm at personally. And I think a lot of people could benefit from just sitting down and just thinking about where you actually are and all the things that you actually have right now, and having that little bit of, I would say, just insight into valuing the things that you currently have with where you're at and not focusing on all the negative things. It's very easy to focus on negative things because they're the forefront of everything. But just appreciating where you're at and appreciating the challenges that you currently have and what those challenges have become over time as a byproduct of you becoming someone else, right? It's something, a better version of yourself potentially. What do you think about that?
I think there's like a level of selfishness that people carry without even realizing that they carry it. And it's not, they're not selfish in the fact that like they don't appreciate what they have. It's just they allow those negatives to take over a lot more than they do focus on the positives. And we've spoken about it many times before on the podcast that we're so easy to criticize ourselves and be on ourselves as opposed to just like write everything that's good that's going on and everything negative, and then actually coming up with like a reasonable solution as to how to overcome those like feelings. Like we're so easy to beat ourselves up and we do it all the time. And yeah, again, it's just this like sort of self-reflection moment really. You need to just be aware of what you've actually got achieved and what there is still left to get and achieve. And then once you understand that, you're kind of like, oh, what am I actually sort of stressing over really? And why am I giving myself this hard time when I've already made progress? I can make more. And there will be weeks, I'm sure, and it kind of links to motivation and really kind of discipline in a way that, you know, like, oh, I've been doing this for so long. Like, what's the point? I've got to where I want to be. But then again, you wouldn't have gotten to where you want to be if you didn't do those things. So to carry those things on, you're only just going to get better. And again, yeah, like I said, it's reflection at the end of the day. Like you've got to take for, you know, not take for granted what you've got and really appreciate it, because we've got a lot and we don't even realize it.
And yeah, appreciating the problems that you actually have too. Appreciating like those are the problems that you're dealing with. They could be much worse. It could be getting a fiver in your bank account to be able to afford food. Every situation has a problem. And I was talking to my coach who is very successful at what he does. He's like the top coach in the UK right now. He's like, to put it in, when I messaged him and I was there like, oh, you know, how do you get through your tougher moments? He was like, I wish I could tell you that the 7-day work weeks of 16 hours of work a day will end, but I'm messaging you with this at 2 a.m. in the morning. and and that's the crazy thing, right? He was there like the problems never really, every situation that you're in, every environment you're in will always come with its own issues, but it's taking a step back and realizing where you are and being thankful for the problems that you're dealing with actually is a thing too. Going like, you know, if you're in £1 million a year, let's say, for example, right, and you're in the best shape you've ever been in, right, and you're in the best shape you've ever been in, your challenge is to get to a 250 kilo deadlift. You're at 245. You can be super demotivated by the fact you're struggling to get 247.5 and you're not quite at 250. But there are people out there just trying to do 60, just trying to do 70. And there's someone out there just trying to get their business off the ground. There's someone out there just trying to be able to pay their bills for their house, right? And you're earning 1 million and you want to get to 1,000,005. So like there will always be these problems, but you've got to appreciate the problems as they turn up, because if you don't do that, you'll always be just negative about everything. And awareness of self is so important, not necessarily selfishness or those types of behaviors. In my honest, to be at the top, to be a top competitive athlete, you have to be selfish though. In bodybuilding, it's the only way, in my opinion, you can be successful. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I to a degree, you have to be, but you don't have to be completely selfish. I mean, Chris Bumstead is a perfect example of that. You know, he's very, very, very open about his preps, and he is a family man. He puts his family above everything, and he didn't just turn down every social event. He just chose to make the right choices for him. And I think being selfish, right? People see being selfish as like choosing not to eat the same meal as their partner. Like, you know, most bodybuilders will go out with their partner, they'll just eat their meal prep, but they still have a really nice meal out. You know, it doesn't have to be completely selfish, but to some degree, you've got to be good selfish to prioritize your goals. And I think that's not selfish. That's just prioritizing well. And as long as you prioritize well, it shouldn't impact anybody else around you. Being organized. Yeah. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I can see where it's definitely seen that way, but I would say there's been plenty of examples where it hasn't been that.
I think we got to take balance into consideration as well, right? The people that succeed have got a really good balance in their life. Like they will have a period, I'm sure, of like work, 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 but at the same time they've got, focus on a relationship, focus on, for us maybe not so much, somewhat of a social life, and those things allowed them to sort of just shift their energy for like a brief period before they sort of reset and go back to what their sole focus is. I think, like you said there, Chris Bumstead is a brilliant example of a successful bodybuilder, but also a successful family man. And he has that balance of like, right, okay, cool. Bodybuilding is, let's say, his full-time 9 to 5 job. But after that, he's then got, his wife and his kids and what he focuses on the most. And yes, the guy's constantly working, but he has periods of his life where, after his shows, for example, he has, how many weeks does he have off? Like 2 or 3 weeks off a show. And that is like solely like recovery, family time. And that balance just allows him to push further on.
Man, Roddy Coleman would take like 3 months after each show where he just didn't go to the gym. Even like Blade, Dexter Jackson would take like 6 months off the gym, and he was there like, well, I've just been massively selfish, so I've got to give back to the people I care about around me. And you're like, I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. I don't think, again, these are the genetic anomalies among us, right? I mean, if I took 6 months off, I'd be a skinny twig of a human being, and I wouldn't be stepping on a competitive stage anytime soon. But at the same time, again, these are all people that are at the top of the top of the top. Like if Chris can balance his family and the high priority values that he sets himself by, outside of bodybuilding, and still get those things done. Same with Ronnie Coleman and same with Dexter Jackson. If they're at the top of what the whole industry, why there are, it tends to be like the amateur bodybuilders that are like, I'm just going to tell my missus I'm basically not going to communicate with her for 12 weeks because I'm in prep. And then you've got all these pro bodybuilders like, why? Like, why would you choose to do that? Like, what's going on? And for someone that's been around the absolute top level, bro, like, especially at this like kind of level here, all very family focused people, very, very family focused people, because they understand how strong and how much value having a strong support system brings to them. Is you can't do it on your own, bro. It's impossible to do, And I think there's a lot of, at the amateur level, there's that Rocky we spoke about before, that Rocky scene where people are like, oh yeah, dude, like it's all on me, like me or nothing. And you quite quickly find out that it makes the process miserable, and you don't want to do a bodybuilding prep again after that, because you're like, fucking hell, man, I've got no mates left and my missus has left me. And you're like, well, okay, for a plastic trophy at that point at an amateur level, what's the point? So it can be balanced. It can be done well. I mean, Chris and Tracy are a perfect example of that as well. Chris is the best dad I've ever seen, and same with Tracy, a really, really good mum. Both doing a bodybuilding prep, but still take their kids to all the football games, still go out on the weekends. They just take all their meal prep with them. It's fine, And I don't think Joe, their son, ever is impacted by that at all. I mean, the day before his bodybuilding show, I was in Chris's hotel room, and we were looking at his physique. As soon as we did his physique check-in, bro, it was like he was just playing with, like, I think a Charizard with his son for like half an hour. Yeah, that's really fucking cool, dude. Really cool. So, anyway, moving into the meat and bones of today, then, because it is Monday morning motivation, so we want to get everybody ready and raring. Meal prep is not optional. Yeah, it's not optional. Now, I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, it is for me. Well, it shouldn't be, because meal prep is by far, take body composition away from it. That is a benefit of meal prepping, but by far the most financially viable decision you could make. Going to save a boatload of money that way. There are loads of coaching clients that I currently work with that have saved, I mean, one of them like 60 quid a week, as he was just going out and eating food all the time. But on the plus side of that, you get more time back. Yeah, I know it's an hour of meal prepping in the morning, but now you don't have to go to Tesco. Now you don't have to go to Sainsbury's. Now you don't have to go get your meal deal. You don't have that time, that 10-minute journey there, looking around the shop, 10-minute journey back, then having the food. It's like you have it with you. So if you're at work, pop the meal out, crack the meal down, crack on with your work again. You could be finished early if they let you finish early, or you could get more done and potentially be on for a raise. Like, it's so many benefits to it that realistically most people should meal prep. I mean, people were meal prepping before it was called meal prep. They were just making sandwiches in a lunchbox, right? It was a thing. So we used to do it at school. If kids do it, why did we stop doing it?
Yeah, 100%. The only issue that I find, and I've spoken to quite a few clients, is that like I swear they do not allow enough break time during work. Like I swear, man. Like when I was doing my 9 to 5 job, they give you a 20-minute lunch break and that's it. And it's like you expect me to just be chilled out for 20 minutes of an 8-hour shift. Like, are you having a laugh? I know that might sound a little pathetic from me, but that's the only complaint that I have. But yeah, like you said, meal prep is it is like a cheat code in a way. And like you know, again, like you said, we've been doing it for years already without even realizing it. We've taken a fucking packed lunch to school. So what's the difference? It's just hotter, I guess. Maybe a bit more to cook and not a sandwich. So yeah, definitely a massive cheat code, especially in body transformation world, because you have an understanding of what you're putting in the body. There is absolutely no guesswork whatsoever. All you do is just basically follow a recipe, which is probably the easiest recipe that you'll ever follow in your life, because it mainly consists of a carb source, a protein source, and then some, fruit and veg with your greens. Like, you literally cannot get any easier than that. So yeah, do your meal prep. Do your meal prep.
Yeah, 100%. Also, by the way, because I have worked with people that say they don't get a break, you're entitled to a break. Take your break. If your boss is like, you have time for a break, they're fucking stupid. You're literally going to perform better if you keep your body well nourished. Yeah, you will just perform better. You will just be a better employee if you get some time to get some food in. You just will. And having a bit of downtime to deregulate from any escalating situation that you maybe have had to deal with. If like, say for example, this lady was working in a restaurant, right? We're so busy we can't get a break. Okay, if you've had to deal with a very hard table, multiple of them potentially, you're heightened, which means that all the tables you're going to talk to, you're going into that conversation being like, how are you going to cause me problems? Because that's all I'm looking for at this point. Whereas if you get the 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go off and have a bit of food, watch a bit of YouTube, maybe go on Instagram, doom scroll a little bit, watch some funny videos. You come back, you're like, hey, how are you? And it's a completely different experience. So ultimately, if they're trying to drive you through without a break, number one, it's fucking illegal. Number two, it's not going to net you to be the best employee you could possibly be. And you've just got to have the conversation with your manager and just be like, look, I understand we're busy, but I am entitled to a break and I'm going to come back and I'm going to be even better than I am right now. Because right now I'm tired. If I have some food, I'll come back and I'll be ready to go again. And you could keep me on the floor and send me all the tables. But at this point, I just need a bit of time to deregulate and just disassociate from all the stress that I've actually just dealt with. But I think they struggle to have that conversation, when in reality, it's a conversation you should have if your employer is trying to get too much out of you, because they're not paying you for that. You're entitled to a break. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, so if you're having any break issues with your manager, just take them to court and then get it resolved. No, I'm joking.
Sue the living pants off of a mate.
Yeah. So, and if you're going through prep, then that's an even bigger motive to get rid of them. No, I'm joking. But yeah, definitely get your food in throughout the day. Yeah, 100%. Because like you said there, like something simple as taking a 20-minute break can completely alter your mood from having to deal with 4 stressful tables. And then as soon as you've had that break, you can go back into that scenario with a completely different mindset. And that's another thing as well that people need to do, is just learn when to sort of step away for a second and then reevaluate and then go into it with a clearer mind. 100% sort of linking to like the motivation side of things. I mean, we've had it multiple times in here, and I've definitely had it with you multiple times in here, where I've come in and I've been like, oh, you know what, not really feeling it today. And then you take like a moment of reflection, or just like a 10-minute moment of like, right, let's just really gather my thoughts. And then suddenly you're in a completely different mindset where you're like, you know what, today isn't actually that bad and I need to just crack on and then get the stuff I need to get done. And then you realize that it's not, the end of the world. So yeah, stress to your boss how important a break is. Definitely. 100%. You need to be fed. The energy.
However, Jake, you don't need a break. Work harder.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to come. I was waiting for that.
You imagine if I was that kind of guy. Jesus. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Especially from us knowing from like an anatomy and physiology standpoint how important food is. Like we know from the nth degree how much people need good nutrition to be able to be their best. When you hear about like bosses just not letting their employees eat, you're like, why? Like why you're literally hamstringing your whole business because you're not giving people a bit of time off. Just let them go and just have some food and come back. It's fine. It will take 15 minutes. But yeah, anyway.
I didn't want to get into like the politics side of things, but obviously we just had, what did we have over the weekend that started? Was it like a general election or something, or like a local election?
I'm so disassociated
This
with
is
that
one of the
shit
main
now.
reasons why people wanted to vote in the Green Party, because one of their main points is to have a 4-day work week, because they realised and understood that productivity is so much better on the back end of that. And it is, again, like going back to, I know I didn't want to get into like politics side of things, but it is having like ample amounts of rest as you do work and just finding like a good balance. For us, we're very hypocritical in the sense of work-life balance, because work and life is like the same thing. It's all kind of rolled into one. I don't think we've ever left this office for more than, I'd say, 24 hours at a time. So we're a bit hypocritical in that sense, but yeah, just have a good balance, and things will be a lot easier. I like the analogy you used earlier as well, where I wanted to bring it back up before we got on to the next topic, but I liked your analogy of appreciating your problems. I quite like that. It's quite a good quote. Because I imagine 2 years ago being worried now that you can't lift a certain amount, you'd be fucking pinching yourself, wouldn't you? Or looking a certain way. Like, it's crazy. That's a really good. I think that's a really good analogy to take into a week. It's definitely a positive way of looking at negative, 100%. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that back up. That was quite good.
Cool. Use that, bro. Print it out. Lewis Davis, 2026, May the 11th. Just like a black and white photo.
It's the new Instagram post for today.
Like it's like a military style photo, isn't it? Except I'm not holding a rifle, I'm holding a barbell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe like 5 to 10 pounds a bit bigger. Yeah, and like maybe 2 to 3% a bit leaner.
ChatGPT, add 10 pounds of muscle to my weight.
Right, next one is why you're always hungry. So, why you're always hungry. Now, this is something I wanted to touch on because it's something that's really, really important. I work with a lot of people, and I've worked with a lot of people over the last 12 years that have this, especially when you're in a dieting phase, that have this idea that less is more. And something that I wanted to really clear up with people is that you can only lose so much body fat per week, depending on the individual. You get, again, your genetic anomalies, your Ronnie Coleman's, your Obies, for example, who will lose probably about 2 kilos of body fat in a week, right? Some people can. For me, when I shred, like you see me when I shred, like I lose body fat really quick. Now, my body has a very good way of distributing body fat, but for 95% of the population, it is about 1 kilo a week, which is a fucking lot of body fat. Like, it's a lot of body fat. It's like if you go to Tesco's and you buy the biggest possible pack of chicken you can. Well, you actually, that's a lie, because you can buy like 2.5 kilos now, I think. But a big one with like 5 chicken breasts in. That is how much body fat you can lose a week. A week, which is a fucking lot of body fat. Okay. A lot of people have this idea that less is more. So what they'll do is they'll get a diet plan and they'll think that actually, if I skip breakfast, I'm going to be way better off because of it. In reality, what you're doing is if you lose above that 2.2 pounds mark consistently per week, we're not going to take into account the first week, as first week inflammation drops as well. But you are not just losing body fat, you're losing muscle tissue as well. And what you're then doing is you're losing the tissue that will allow you to be able to maintain the body fat percentage you will inevitably get to at the end of your journey. So you're not, by restricting, doing yourself any favors. You're actually doing yourself a disservice. And on top of that, you've got to remember that leptin and ghrelin, which are your hunger and satiety hormones, you've got to think of them like a glass of water. Yeah. And I use this analogy with someone it might have been on the Thursday podcast last week, but imagine your leptin and ghrelin like a glass of water. Okay. Imagine this glass slowly fills up over time. So ultimately, if you over diet, and you over diet, this glass fills up a tiny bit, and then it fills up a tiny bit the next time you over diet, and it slowly fills, right? And as soon as that glass overflows, your leptin and ghrelin will just go wild. They go completely uncontrolled. So that means your hunger is insatiable. It's like you look at the cupboard and you're like shaking. I've been there before, and you're like, oh my God, there's someone in the cupboard and I've got to eat it. Right? You're just so obsessed with that. But equally, if you were to have it, you'll not ever full. And I've been to a point before where my leptin and ghrelin have been so fucked up and so screwed up that I've had about 6,000 calories inside of maybe a hour long window, and I'm just eating and eating and eating and eating and not feeling full. But I'm bloated and I'm like gagging on food. But I'm like, I can't not. I still I'm not full. Like I'm so fucking hungry. And you never, ever, ever want to get to that point, and nor is it needed in a shred. But what you do if you manage your diet well, and that's where coaching comes into the mix, or if you're just very good at managing your diet, okay, if you're not on coaching. If you eat well in a deficit, what's going to happen is it's going to build a little bit. And every time you're just in that slight deficit to not let leptin and ghrelin go overboard, you're taking the glass and you're tipping out the water, and then you're filling it up again. But you're taking the glass and you're tipping out the water. That's how you do a dieting phase efficiently and keep your leptin and ghrelin under control. And you'll know if you've dieted well because you'll get to the end of your process, right? And sure, you'll probably gain back a little bit of weight because if you're in a deficit, you're going to go back to maintenance and muscle tissue will recover, glycogen will go back on. But you'll be like, okay, cool, I've had a cheat meal and I feel fine. You won't be there like, I need 18,000 cheat meals nonstop for 2 weeks. Okay. So under eating will fuck you up to the nth degree. Okay. So you need to make sure you're dieting properly versus dieting in the incorrect way because it will just be a recipe for failure.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. And you will definitely know when you've responded badly to the end of your sort of like shred, if you will, because I can remember definitely going overboard when I finished my show, and I know it's an extreme case of a deficit, but fuck me, did I feel like shit afterwards. Just going overboard, eating everything and anything I could. So yeah, managing it well not only allows you to make progress steadily throughout your transformation, but also helps you on the back end of it as well. And it doesn't disturb your relationship with food and how you see food as well, because again, it's just managed properly and it's managed well.
Mm-hmm. I think also having that association as well. So that's the most extreme case, but the other cases as well is that you've got to think of the environment that we now live in. We now live in an environment that is literally marketing. There is marketing everywhere you go for everything, and every company is going to advocate their product. It's a bit like Belvita breakfast biscuits. Belvita breakfast biscuits, they're one of your 5 a day, and everyone's like, oh, see, they're healthy. Then people will go and have 4 packs of them in a day and not realize they've consumed 1,200 calories. And they feel like they're being healthy, but actually they're in a massive calorie surplus because of these Belvita breakfast biscuits. When if they just had some berries like strawberries or blueberries or raspberries, which are funnily enough, one of your one a day as well, you will not only be really healthy, but you will have consumed a tenth or even more, like 1/20th of the calories that actually are in Belvita breakfast biscuits. And people are like, yeah, but the fiber. Your fiber should be covered by your diet. If you're making good, healthy choices, your fiber will be fine. And you can have too much fiber. By the way, too little fiber will cause you to be constipated. Too much fiber will cause you to be constipated. So, like, both sides of the spectrum are exactly the same symptoms. So for a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm constipated. I need more Belvita breakfast biscuits. I clearly haven't had enough fiber. Have you ever thought about maybe you're having too much now? Right. So it's having that balance. And what I'm trying to say with the hunger side of things, if you're being marketed to, it's a bit like, imagine it's the whole drug thing, right? So if they say like, like peer pressure, yeah, at school. My parents always like, try and avoid the people that try and peer pressure you into drugs. So you've got to make that decision yourself. My parents were always cool. They were like, if you ever want to like try something, you're more than welcome as long as you're around the safety of our own home. And because there was no red button thing, it's like, I'll never press the red button. The first thing you want to do is press the red button. Because I was never restricted, I never found myself in that group. Do you know what I mean? I never wanted to, because it was never red buttoned for me. But again, if you're in an environment where you're like, "Ah, I don't really want to smoke weed, man," but then you're around 3 or 4 people going, yeah, but bro, he's cool though, isn't it?" First thing you do is go, maybe it is. And you start to think about it. And then maybe you do it. Most people do. And if you think that's what we get every day on Instagram, on TV, on YouTube, everything is you could have this, you could have this, you could have this. It's not that bad. Oh, by the way, McDonald's is only this price. It's really cheap, actually. It's probably cheaper than your dinner. And actually, what's happening is you're being almost so peer pressured into having these choices that the hunger you really feel isn't hunger. You're being peer pressured into feeling like you're hungry. When in reality, your body's very easily fulfilled by just organic food choices. So for most people on a diet, they're like, "Oh, I'm so hungry." You're like, "You're on like 3,000 calories of good food, man. There's no way you're hungry." I tell you what, you go stand in front of an Ethiopian child that's struggling to survive, and you go tell them you're hungry. I bet you any money they'll tell you to fuck off. So just trust me, it is marketing, and it is you've got to try and disassociate from that and be like, what do I actually need? What do I actually crave? And 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, it's never the Big Mac from McDonald's. It's gonna be actual food choices, and then probably the food choices you're already consuming.
Sick and tired of my phone as well when we're in a deficit phase, and then it kind of like knows that you're in a deficit phase without you actually having to tell it out loud, and then it just comes up with a load of fucking food videos on your feed. And then you start saving them because you're like, oh, I'm going to try that when I'm off. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. And then you never get around to trying them because you realize how fucking stupid it actually is.
Do you ever get to that Instagram account where it's like cake or not? And it's like a it's like a toilet seat, and it's like they've got a knife and they're like, is it cake or is it not? And then it like slowly and you're there like, I don't know. I've never been so appetized by a toilet seat before, but now that's
And then you realize that it wasn't cake. So then you get a knife and you go to your own toilet and then you try it. And even though the knife isn't going through, you still take a bite out of the seat just to clarify that it's not cake.
I've never been that far, but yeah, fair.
Neither. No, that was just an extreme case, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? It's and again, it's business at the end of the day. It's money, it's advertising, it's how to get products out there. But like, people really do have a misconception of what is right and wrong for their body, and it's moderation, isn't it? Everything in moderation. That's why some of our clients are allowed a one-not. I'll never. I don't think I'll. I've tried to sort of refrain calling it a cheat meal because I don't want to feel like they're going against what they're sort of training for. So, like, some of my clients have an off-plan meal per week, and that's just an opportunity for them to maybe enjoy stuff that they haven't had for a while. Um, but then they weigh out the pros and cons of being on an actual diet plan, and they see the benefits, and I've constantly reassured them every week. We have a hunger.
You on about a scale?
Yeah. No, we have like a 1 to 10 hunger monitor, like on our check-ins, right? And if one of my clients is above a 5, then obviously it's like not an alarm, but it's kind of like something to note down during the check-in. And I'll be like, dude, you're in a deficit phase. Think of how fucking sick you're going to look in 2 months' time. That hunger, to be completely honest with you, sounds horrible, is completely irrelevant to me, because as long as you're on top of everything, you are fine. And then they sort of see the benefit, and they hear the pro, and they're like, oh, you know what, he's actually right. And then suddenly their hunger in the following week comes down to about 3, because they weren't actually hungry, they were just thinking about it, and dedicated that thought, that emotion to food, to training a little harder in the gym, or like going outside, or spending more time with family, and suddenly that distraction of food doesn't become an issue anymore. But yeah, social media and marketing, man, does not help at all. And it's the same with other stuff as well. It's like alcohol. Like, fuck me, like, you have big alcohol brands that like sponsor sporting events now, and it's like, how can that be justified? Please tell me how that is justified. But it's the way of the world, unfortunately. It's the way of the world.
Yeah, man, definitely. One little thing just to close off that whole topic there. I think if you're truly in a deficit, you will experience some level of hunger. It should never be to the point where like you want to again get to that point that I mentioned there, where you're looking at the cupboard and fucking shaking. But it should be you are a little bit hungry, because naturally you're under fueling your body for what it currently needs to maintain to be able to reduce body fat. But there is this really cool analogy that one bodybuilder mentioned in a podcast once, and I was like in prep at the time, so I was really fucking hungry. I thought I was anyway, but I wasn't really. And I was like, it'd be really fascinating to listen to this guy because he was also in prep. And someone said, "How do you manage the hunger?" And he went, "Oh, I don't manage it." And then the guy was like, "Well, do you not get hungry?" He's like, "No, I get hungry all the time." And he's like, "Okay, then how do you deal with it?" And he said, "Well, I'm in a deficit phase. So if I'm not hungry, then I'm clearly not in a deficit. So if I'm hungry, then I'm losing body fat, right?" And the guy was like, "Fair." So for him, he was like, "If I'm not hungry, there's something concerning going on. I'm in prep. I need to be hungry, otherwise I'm not underfueling my body for what it currently needs to maintain, which then therefore means I'm not losing optimal levels of body fat." So a level of hunger is cool. I think that's fine. Like it's something you experience on a daily basis without being on a diet anyway. Like you get to like the end of your day and you're like, "Oh, I can't wait for dinner." That's pretty normal. But yeah, I would always say that like you definitely should experience a level of hunger. It just shouldn't be to the point where you're like fucking licking windows and shit, you know. At that point is
I
okay,
got I
but
got a question for you as well. I think I've asked you this before, but I'm not too sure. What do you find more challenging, an improvement phase or a deficit phase?
I find them both challenging in two different ways. I find them both hard. I think they're both hard. I think it's very easy, again, going back to our analogy at the beginning, to miss something that you currently are not experiencing. So, like for us in an improvement phase, we were eating loads of food. You're like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to be back in a diet." And then as soon as you're in a diet, like, "I cannot wait to go back into a bulking phase." They're both hard. They're just two different ends of the spectrum. And yeah, one's pushing food, one's restricting food a little bit. I don't really mind, but I enjoy both of them. To be honest, to be quite frank, as much as I bitch about the food being like, another meal, or "Oh my god, I could really do with like 50 grams of extra rice here." Um, I enjoy them both because I just like the way I feel at that time, and I'm disciplined on both sides. So if I'm adhering to a dieting phase, I feel really good because I'm disciplined enough to stick to it, and if I'm in an improvement phase, I feel good because I'm disciplined enough to stick to it. That gives me a lot of confidence, bro. So that outweighs the emotional strain of the hunger, I think, because I just feel fucking good because I'm on it, hitting targets, you know.
Nice. That's a good way of putting it. Seeing the pros in both.
Yeah, man. I think the only negative about a dieting phase though is realistically it's the as opposed to an improvement phase. When you're dieting, you just realize how many calories are just fucking in everything. Do you know what I mean? Like you just realize how you go get a chicken salad from Tesco. You're like, there's no way this should be 500 calories because if I make this from home, it's 300. So where in this tiny little plastic box, where's the additional 200 come from?
It's from McDonald's Air. That's what it's from.
Well, it's Tesco, so hopefully it's not McDonald's.
Oh, I thought you said McDonald's salad. Sorry.
No, no, no. Right, moving on to the next thing. Effort and why it's your most valuable tool. So for me, for this one, this is insane. And that leads me on to the next one after that, which is your environment is the most important variable. Effort in the gym, man. Honestly, effort is your biggest thing that you're in full control over. Like you are in control of your effort always. And if you come into the gym for an hour of your day, the way I see it is as soon as I step in the gym, it's important to train my effort as much as it is to train my body. Because if I can push myself in here when I don't feel like it, it's like I train like 4:45 in the morning, right? If I can be disciplined enough to push hard when all I want to be doing is lying in bed, then everything else in my day is going to go really well. Because I can apply now, which is the hardest point of my day. Being 9 a.m. and starting work and doing something comfortable in an office is not that bad. It really isn't that hard to do. So for me, that's really important. But also, after 12 years of being a coach, I promise you now, the guys and girls that turn up and they're like, "I am on all the time," will get 3 times, 4, 5 times the progress that someone that's there like, "Oh, I'm just ticking boxes," you know. And I'm not saying you have to come in and beast yourself to the nth degree every single session because that will actively fight against you. But having the discipline to turn up and go, "This is my target today. Whatever I do, I'm going to give it my best to achieve it," and going as much as they possibly can towards that target. In some sets, you might feel like you got more left over. Maybe you've hit your target, maybe you got 2 more. Good, keep it. That's cool. It means the next session is going to be even easier for you to hit that target. Some session you might not get it, but at least you tried and at least you put the effort in because that is way more effort than someone who is not putting the effort in would ever give. and they'll probably give up before they even start. So the 5 or 10% extra per session that you get out of just having like strong work ethic is going to net you so much more progress, 100%. And your environment fucking 3 or 4 times X's that. Because again, if you're not coming in and you're surrounded by people that are also driven, going back to the peer pressure side of what we're talking about with hunger and food cravings, if people are peer pressuring you into going like, oh yeah, man, you've had a tough weekend though, haven't you? Yeah, you've had a tough. Yeah, it's all right to be tired. Don't worry about it, bro. Like, if you finish a session early, you just go home. And they give you more ammunition to listen to those bad voices in your head to not do what you've signed up to do. You're gonna fail every time. You are gonna fail. So for me, I'm very, very careful about who I train around because there are days where I am like absolutely shafted, and I do not need someone going like, oh yeah, bless. I need someone to go like, listen, man, I don't care what you've been through in your day, get on with it. I'll be like, cool, sick, and I get on with it. And yeah, you just have to be around people that are as motivated, if not more motivated than yourself. And that is applied to everything in life. Yeah. If you want to be good at your job, find the best possible person in your workplace and sit next to them. And I guarantee you will make more sales, do more work, all of that, because you're around someone that's very good and very driven at what they're doing. And you're going to naturally just end up that way too. Same with your friends. If you're around friends that are just fucking dickheads all the time, you are going to be the fifth dickhead in that group. However, if you're around people that are very caring, very motivational, very organized, family people, you're going to start to pick up their habits and you're going to become better yourself. So just gauge that environment, keep it close. It shouldn't be a broad environment, it should be quite small. And they should be people that you can give a lot to, and they will also give a lot back to you as well. That's what my view is on that.
I think that's one of the driving factors for the results that we get here in Tribe as well, because as much as us coaches obviously implement the best strategy possible for clients' goals, they're also given the advantage of a community where there is no excuse but to just get on with it, and we've been through it with like prep and stuff, so we know exactly what it's like. So we've also got that sort of like ammunition with clients where it's like, we know it's hard, we've been through it, but trust me, it gets better, and it will get better. Inevitably it will get better. It's like I had Alex in this morning, bless his heart, he's in a bit of a strong deficit phase at the moment, getting ready for his holiday. He's on the Stairmaster. He is hauling ass, bro. Like, he is fucking gunning for it. He is sweating his tits off. And, like, he's like, oh, I haven't really got don't really want to train this morning. And then, he can, I know that in the back of his mind, he is aware that there are about 3 other guys around him training, right? And then he's like, I don't need to train today. I could have today's rest day. And he's like, no, I'm just going to crack on with it anyway. And I'm like, cool, brilliant. That is the mentality switch, which at the start, I'm sure probably wouldn't have been there. And now it's like, sick, right? We've had this turnaround now where it's like, you're buzzing off of other people doing what you want to do, and it's kind of like healthy competition in a way. So like, if we were ever in prep at the same time, I'm sure like I would want to be training just as hard as you are, because it's, you don't want to compete against each other, but you sort of want to give each other that accountability. It's one thing that we definitely have here that the members aren't even aware that they give to other members, is accountability. Just being in the gym, just being positive, just cracking on and pushing when you need to push, but also, sort of like dying it down when you need to. It keeps everyone accountable, and it keeps everyone sort of, getting towards their goals, like week in, week out, like without a doubt, 100%. Like, the environment is so important, which again is why I've had more progress from coming here and, being a coach here than I will have anywhere else in any other gym. I'm sure. I'm like 100% sure of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I also do believe that with that side of things as well. I had a conversation. So this is me being completely like honest with you guys as well that are tuning in. I had a conversation with a guy like 3 weeks ago, right? And he was like, "Oh, listen, I think I've learned enough in the gym. I'm going to head off. I'm going to go to another gym that's maybe a little bit cheaper, all this sort of stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool. That's absolutely fine. If that's a choice that you made, like, fair enough." And he said, "Look, I might come back. I might go there. It might not be cool, and I might come back." I said, "Yeah, it's fine. Absolutely, not a problem." And I said to him, I was like, just out of curiosity, like, what has made you want to head off? And he was like, well, I feel like I've learned a lot, and I feel like I can apply that in another gym environment and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, right? And I did say to him at the time, I said, right, I've been doing this for a long time now, like a long, long time. Okay, and I've dealt with lots of people that are exactly in your position right now. And I'm not saying this out of a place that, like, I hope you don't succeed. My goal right here is to make sure that you are making the right decision for you to succeed, right? And for me personally, I said, look, the knowledge is huge here. Yeah, like there's always stuff that me and Jake are learning. Me and Jamie, Maddie, we're all learning stuff all the time, right? But we got 12 to 20 years of experience in here, working with the highest possible level of athletes. And even if you don't want to be that, that's fine. But I can tell you right now, I can help you get more out of a pec deck fly than you be able to get out of a pec deck fly on your own, because ultimately it's another set of eyes looking in with lots more experience, right? So there's that. But also, at the same time, it's the environment. It's the environment that carries progress. There are so many people that have left here with that same mindset, and they've come back 3 months later. They're like, I just didn't like it. It just wasn't the same. I made no progress. It's like, well, yeah, we've got the same equipment in here, 100%. But the difference is when they come in, yo, man, what are you going to get on today? What are we doing? Like, where are we going? What are we doing? What's the target? And then they go, well, I was meant to be doing this. Why are you going to do that today? We're going to make sure you do that. Okay, cool. Let's crack on. Those sessions might be 2 sessions out of 5 in a week. But if you imagine over the course of like a year, how many sessions that actually is compounding on top of each other, that's a lot of progress. And also, it's the days where you don't feel like it. You're not just going to the gym on your own going, I'll skip it. Because even I do that, right? Sometimes, even if I'm training on my own, I'm a coach, been doing it for a long time. Some days, there have been days a few months ago where where I had no accountability, when I had like no coach and stuff like that. Even as a coach, I'd skip a gym session because I'm there like, well, I'm tired. I've done, I've worked 19-hour days and stuff. I'm not going to bother today. I'll just catch up next week. Whereas as soon as I had a plan and I had to be accountable to someone, I cannot miss this session. I don't fucking care how tired I am. I've got to turn up and I've got to do it. So it's actually having that accountability, actually having the knowledge, actually having someone is invested in your journey as you are, is the biggest sales point for here. And there's a reason why the athletes that are here go off and win competitions. Yeah. Like, we do very well at these competitions. I know sometimes it's very easy to see, like, I don't know, a third place, right? And go, well, it's third, it's not first. But you didn't realize there were 25 athletes on that stage, right? And there were like thousands of people. Think about the first place medals that are up there, right? There are so many fucking people out there trying to do what we do, and they're not the level that we're at, right? And there are people out there doing what we do that are a level above where we're at. But those are the people that, again, are like my coach that have been in the industry for 30 years or 20 years. But we are very good at what we do. So just come in and just ask us questions, use us for accountability. Let us just absolutely rip and tear through your goal, bro, because that is my one biggest thing. It's why I became a coach. And I even actively told you, Jake, the other day, the hardest point in my job right now is managing the team. Like, I find it hard for me to manage Jake, Jamie, Maddie, Tam. That is the hardest point in my job, and it's something that I don't like, because that means sometimes having harder conversations and stuff, which I really don't like. For me, I became a PT because I fucking love making people hit their goals, bro. Like, I love weightlifting. I love like shattering those belief systems of like, I can't do this. And then they come in and they do a session and they lift it. That is the coolest feeling in the world. And seeing someone going out and absolutely looking incredible off the back of not having any kind of confidence when they joined, that shit fulfills me to the nth degree. So if you know, that is my biggest thing. That's why I set the gym up, right? And that's Jake's exactly the same. Jamie and Maddie are exactly the same. We're all those people. Come in and vibe with that. Just vibe with that. Say like, I want to come in. I'm not feeling great today. All right, cool. Let us just give you our energy then, because all I want to do is see you succeed. Probably more than what you do right now. So just follow me. We'll just get it done. Yeah. So that is the biggest environmental shift at Tribe. That is why I believe personally the gym has got such a high value, because you will just succeed here 100%. There's no ifs and buts. Everybody comes in here and gets results. Everyone.
A fucking men. Amen. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it is, the gym itself is a brilliant outlet, but coming to a gym where you are very comfortable at, in an environment that you're comfortable at, surrounded by people that, believe it or not, also have lives and problems, and just cracking on and realizing that your life and problems, it doesn't, it doesn't, not necessarily your life, but your problems, they're not as big as you think they are. And you've got your gym members who have turned into sort of like training partners, and they are literally grabbing you by the fucking collar and being like, look, you can fucking do this and you can crack on with it. And yeah, just the vibe, the energy, the inevitability of like achieving your goals is brilliant, and it's very, very present in the gym. That's why you see everyone's pictures across the wall, because success, man, it's literally what we do. It's what I believe, it's what we've been put on this planet to help people achieve. So and yeah, fuck me, does it come in this gym. And yeah, a lot. Like, we have a lot of, we're gonna have loads and loads of success stories this year as well, with people going off competing in like bodybuilding, affix, high rocks, even PBs within the gym. Got a whole whiteboard downstairs full of them. So yeah, man, it's fucking constant all the time, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Keeps the vibe up every single day. Keeps the vibe up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And just one more touch on that as well. What about it? What? Can you hear me now? All right, cool. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. One more thing as well. So there have been people that have come in here that are alcoholics at the worst possible point in their lives, so that have gone on to win bodybuilding competitions. Yeah, they've completely transformed their lives around. One guy went and won a strongman competition, then went off to do bodybuilding and did really well in that too, right? And he was addicted to alcohol. We're talking like 2 bottles of JD a night. Yeah, so if someone can make that decision to change, then you can do it too. Yeah, anybody can do it. Yeah, and there have been people in here that are like, you see it all the time, like even just not in here. Yeah, there are people out there that have gone completely fucking bankrupt and then started a business for the second time and then done very well. Sometimes it is just about your environment. You have to be around the right people. And this guy that was an alcoholic was around at the time. It was only me doing coaching, right? And I remember saying to him, I was like, this way of life that you are living right now is going to kill you. So either you make the shift and you make a positive decision, or I'm going to be going to your funeral, mate. And I don't want to do that because he's a really nice guy. And I remember having that straight, blunt conversation with him. And he looked at me and he was like, well, what do we need to do then? And I was like, cool. Well, what are you motivated for? And at the time, it's strongman. I was like, let's go win this one first. He was like, win? I was like, yeah, let's just fucking hoon it. Let's go win it. He went off and he won. And he dedicated himself to the process and to me as well. Like he was there like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm going to stop drinking because you've asked me to, and I'm going to do everything you've asked. And I'm like, okay, cool, perfect. Come and see me. We're going to do a diet plan. We're going to get everything nailed. And he did it, bro. He went off and he won. And then afterwards he was like, I don't know what to do now. I was like, well, what do you like? And he said, well, I really like what you do. And I was there like, okay, well, do you want to be a men's physique guy? He's like, dude, like, he lost a bit of weight. But he was like, I'm nowhere near like that. And I was like, well, we will make you like that because you've just proved it to yourself there. You've done strongman. You won it. We said we were going to win it, and you didn't believe me at that time, and we won it. You got the trophy. So what can we do now? And then he was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then he went off, and he looked like a dude. The guy was so peeled. He had a better back than I did. I was like, there you go, bro. These things are always, it's a mental shift and an environmental shift. Yeah. So he just shifted away from people that were normalizing being an alcoholic because they were all going out on the weekends, steaming for alcohol and thinking it was normal, to being told it wasn't normal. And actually, these things are going to allow you to live for a much longer period of time, allow you to feel confident in your body, and ultimately become a better version of yourself. So just environment, man. Environment is so important. And sorry, bro.
That's one thing, especially nowadays, is what is normal and what's considered normal and what's considered not normal. And I feel like it is very normal to appreciate what your body can do and what your body is very capable of. And yeah, man, like what we normalize now can like affect your life, like you mentioned there, with sort of alcohol, even like drugs, even loads of things are deemed normal. It's mental. It's mental. And yeah, I think there needs to be a massive shift on that. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think you've got to come up with what you perceive as normal as well, yeah? Like your perception of normal should be off the back of your experiences, not someone else's. people always have this thing of they want to input into other people's life what they think is normal. I say all the time, bro. I would say I work 16 hours a day, and they're like, "Oh, it's not normal. It's too much. You need more balance in your life." And I'm like, "My balance is fine. Me and Maddie are great. Like we're good." And ultimately, I enjoy it. Like I enjoy it. So what balance do I need to find here? Yeah, sure. There are some days where balance is out on the bad side of the scale. Maybe I don't get like a weekend or something, but I'll make sure that I don't know, off the back of me working hard because we're working harder, we're earning more money because we're very good at what we do. And ultimately, because we're very good at what we do, kind of finances find our way to us. And I'll be like to Maddie, well, we'll book a holiday then. And then we book a holiday and we get our time back that way. So it's kind of like, swings and roundabouts, man. Like find your own normal and just stick with it. If you enjoy working, work as much as you want. Like don't feel like you have to sit there miserable, like watching Netflix on a Sunday, going, oh, fucking hell, I'd really rather be working right now because someone told you have to watch Netflix. Make that decision yourself. Like it's your decision, bro. It's your life. Do what you want to do, man. Equally, if you want to watch Netflix on a Sunday, fucking watch Netflix on a Sunday. Like I don't mind. As long as you're doing the stuff that you need to do to move the needle forwards on a daily basis, it's your choice. So anyway, right, what we're seeing in the gym right now. Jake, I'm going to ask you straight off the get go. What are you seeing in the gym right now?
What am I seeing in the gym or singing?
Oh, bro, what was? Did you say singing?
I thought you said what are we singing in the gym right now?
What are we singing in the gym right now?
Do you want to start singing in the gym right now?
A whole new world.
Dazzling place I never knew.
Yeah, listen, bro. If we're gonna do this, you go hard, okay? Go hard. You don't
Sorry.
hold it back. A whole new world.
A dazzling place I never knew. Go again.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Go again.
we will be doing more of that
It's your
live
part.
this Friday.
Friday.
Candle lit.
Open bar.
£30.
Karaoke.
A romantic gym venture through the world of Aladdin with biceps. What a show. Anyway, what are we seeing in the gym right now, bro?
We are seeing people definitely happier because it's getting warmer, 100%. We're getting towards summer, which means that because it's getting warmer, we're getting towards summer, people are motivated and they're still pushing, man. They want that, they want to get ready for summer. They want that beach body look. No, I'm joking. But yeah, goals are getting closer, which is good. Seeing a lot of hard work in the gym, 100%. We also had a moment of reflection last week during our staff meeting where we realized that sometimes people do need to take a little step back just to be less riskless when it comes to like injury and stuff within the gym. So we've kind of established that, which is good. But yeah, man, just people working hard, coming in consistently, lots of smiles. Can't complain, really. Yeah. What about you? What are you seeing in the gym?
What I'm seeing in the gym, multiple issues. Where can I start? That's good. No. People are doing really, really well, man. Like the cool thing for me in the gym, right, is everybody seems. I was thinking about this the other day, right? I worked at a commercial gym for a long time. People, you find it's hit and miss with people being receptive to information. Yeah, like some people. Dude, there was a lady who used to go on a lateral pull down, and she literally used to keep her arms straight, and then she just go as far back as she can with as much weight as possible. And I remember going over to her being like, "Hey, by the way, if you want to work your lats, then we need to bring our elbows down to our back pockets. Remember, the lats connect to the upper arm, so we need to make sure we're thinking about that. Try and use a false grip over the top, etc." She was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. I've been doing this for years, and I'm all good." I'm like, "Okay, okay." My ADHD brain's like, you are going to keep me up at night. But everybody's really receptive to information. Yeah, I remember when you guys are away, I was going around, I was helping people out, and they were like, "Cool. Well, why is that? Why would I need to do this? Why would I do that?" I'm like, "Oh, because of this." And it's nice to be able to relay the information alongside not just doing the exercise, but people asking why they're doing it that way, and being able to tell them is really, really nice, and people taking it on board. Tim downstairs in the gym, absolutely fucking smashing his program. In his check-in, he was like, "I really appreciated all the like little tips and tricks and the information that I was given in that week and stuff." And I was like, "That's really nice, actually. It's nice to be able to educate people as well as not just like correct the exercise. But from now on, Tim will do that exercise in this way because he knows exactly how that's going to work inside of his body." The one thing that I would say, the one little nitpicky thing is try to, if you are in a bad frame of mind when it comes to weightlifting, you're not feeling it, relay it to the coach. Don't relay it to other people you're training with. Yeah, almost be there like, hey, just not feeling 100% today. Just need a little bit of oomph. If that's all right, do you mind giving me a good shout and a good bit of like, come on during an exercise? That'd be really, really like valued to the other members. Sometimes if you're not feeling it and you just continuously go on about how you're not feeling it, you're bringing other people down alongside you. Yeah, because they might be feeling it. So just make sure that you relay the information, because it's always good to share stuff in the right way, not to bring other people down, but to maybe get a little bit of their energy to bring you up. So you're both up rather than both being down. Right. And it's just about being tactical that way. We've had multiple training sessions together, Jake, where I haven't felt 100%. Yeah. And I've been there like, bro, I'm not feeling it today, but I just need a little bit of a oomph. Yeah. On my sets, my top sets, I just need you to give me a little bit. I even grabbed you before. I'd be like, Jake, I'm going for a top set. Do you mind like just coming upstairs? And then you're like, yeah, come on. And I'll get it. And instantaneously my mindset shifted on that session because I've hit my target, because you've been there going, go, 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 go. And I've got the deadlift. And now I'm like, it's not that bad, So it's just about trying to make sure you don't bring other people down, make sure you bring other people up, or you come up with other people, right? Just be very careful with how you relay that information across. That's it.
Yeah, sometimes, oh my God, the aura I feel when you do that, incredible. When you pull me and you're like, motivate me. And I'm like, yes, sir.
Yeah, he's quivering in his boots, like he's like nervous he's gonna fuck up. Like while I'm going for a top set on a deadlift, he's like,
Everything you got.
Great hair. What? I'm like halfway up, like what? Why?
Yeah, no.
Great calves. Now I know you being a prick.
Asshole. No, we've had it many times where I've just been like, right, dude, just tell me it's going to be all right. Just tell me it's going to be okay. Just fucking get me going. And yeah, it's worked. And I remember very vividly when I used to work in one of my old hospitality jobs. I was working at Valoroso Lounge. I was working at one of those, but in Devizes, and it was Thursday morning. Thursday morning was market day in Devizes, and fuck me, was it busy. I obviously did not get a very good night's sleep the night before, and the whole time on shift I was like, don't want to be here, too tired, I can't do this. And one of my really good friends at the time, who was also a supervisor, turned around to me and she went, Jake, if you don't want to fucking be here, then go home, because I'm not letting you put me down. And I was like, holy shit. And then that sort of like woke me up, and I was like, at first I was a bit like, oh, fuck you then. But then I was like, oh, maybe me being in a bad mood is not very good. Got through the rest of it, and I apologized to her at the end, and I was like, I'm really, really sorry. I did not mean to put you down. And she was like, it's fine. Just don't bring other people down if you're feeling like shit, because other people could be having a really good day, and you're just purposely, without even knowing about it, just bring them down for no reason. So if you're having a bad time, if you're struggling with the movement, if you're not as motivated, maybe just pull one of us to a side and be like, look, I am not feeling this movement or this way, snap me out of it, teach me the correct way, and then we can go again. And we've had it before as well when we've done a session and I'm like, I cannot feel that at all, and you're like, just do this, and I'm like, oh yeah. So
yeah, even like giving people a bit more of an insight to the backside of the gym as well. We had a meeting a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, where like actively the team came in and it wasn't a good vibe. And I was aggy, wasn't I? I was really annoyed. I was really aggy. I was like, you know what? We're not having staff meetings on a Friday anymore. I like actively messaged the staff group. We're not doing it, because that made me feel rubbish. I went home after that and I didn't do much because I felt good before, but then everybody was just in a bad mood as they came in and nothing was changing, which then meant that there was nothing that really happened apart from all of us are now in that mood and there's no point. So, for me, and then obviously after that, we've been very good and we've been very productive since then. All of us come in and we're like, you know what, even if I'm not feeling it, I'm going to just like fake it till I make it, put a smile on. 9 times out of 10, faking it till you make it, as much as people are like, no, you should be in touch with your feelings. Absolutely, 100%. But it's up to you whether or not you want to remain feeling miserable. Like if that's the choice, I don't think anybody wants to stay feeling that way. So if you can do something that forces you to snap out of it, like a light switch, you're like, oh, now I feel really good. Maybe faking it till you make it sometimes is worth doing.
Or a slap around the face. I mean, what?
Yeah, that's what Jake did to me. I was just like, I'm not feeling it, and he was like, listen. That was
I think it was the other way around.
Nah, but genuinely, like we're all like that. So yeah, guys, that brings us to the end of our podcast. Have you guys got any questions that you'd like to ask? We're here to help. You can spend 5 or 10 minutes asking away. We'll just literally sit here. If you don't give us any questions, then we're just going to get really sad.
Ask anything at all. We're very open-minded.
Yeah. Just remember as well that we are very emotional people. And if we don't get one in the next 1 minute, then I will start tearing up. I can already feel them forming. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, guys. Any questions at all? Then yeah, please put them in the chat. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh,
I can show you the world. Shining
It sounds exactly like you.
I was just about to say that. I was like, when did you record during the podcast? Thought it was live.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Tribe karaoke coming up next Thursday.
Oh, bro,
on the podcast, maybe.
Never do that. We are doing airsoft this weekend though, Sunday.
We are, yeah, very exciting. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a chance to get all that negativity out and abuse a coach, shoot them.
Yeah, just saying there is a close friendly fire rule where, like, you have, if you're close to someone, like is in this close, they're here and you're here, you can't shoot. So
But you can
just guys, if you're behind us, yeah, don't get that close. Just especially if you've got a fully automatic rifle, man. Like, oh my god.
Have you seen like the airsoft videos on YouTube where like they get that close and they just like tap them and the guys turn around and they go, "Oh."
Yeah. It's like the one
Brilliant.
where they have like a rubber knife and then they go, "You're dead," and then they just go, "Oh, for God's sake."
Yeah, that's the one. I can't remember what the guy's name is. But he's like airsoft to a T, bro. Like ghillie suited up and everything. And I can just imagine us turning up in like tribe gear and just being like out in the obvious, be like, "Yeah, cool. Yeah, we are not. we are not."
Maybe we wear all the gear and then the tribe top over the top so people can see us, so they can shoot us.
Yeah, that sounds like a good move, I think.
Yeah,
it's a good move.
When I was younger, we used to for my birthday parties, we used to go paintballing. And one year, my brother came along with us. My brother does not like paintballing, and there's one map at Warminster Skirmish which has like 6 huts one side, 6 huts the other side, and it's just like a no man's land in the middle, and you got to try and get to the other side and claim the other side's side of huts. And we managed to get all the other opposing team out, right? Like most of them were shot out, and then we crossed over. Then I was at the end hut, and I was like looking in there. I was like, they're like, lean over, go bang bang, you're dead, because you're not allowed to shoot someone that close, right? And one of my mates, Luke, went over to this one hut, went over the window, went bang bang, you're dead, and my brother's sat in there because he's just been hiding. And my brother panics and just goes, ah, just shoots upwards, goes underneath his mask here, all the way across his jawline, this far away, bro. Honestly, his gun was like here, the head was here, and it just went. And honestly, the guy looked like a chipmunk. It was just so swollen. Don't shoot people under their mask, you guys.
What a legend.
Yeah, I don't think Luke and Henry were friends after that, being honest. Yeah.
But no, airsoft is going to be very exciting this weekend. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's really shit though, because we should have done it. Well, I say we should have. We were going to do it a few weeks back, but bro, everyone is ill at the moment. Like it's either illness or I think we had the bank holiday weekend. No, we had the Easter weekend. No, was it the spring holiday or something like that? There was a couple of weeks where people were off. And like, man, obviously we've just not been able to get underway, but we've got it coming this Sunday, and it's going to be very exciting.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're probably going to leave it there. All right, there were no questions, and I am emotionally hurt by it because considering we've got viewers as well. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll get over it. Maybe not. Maybe I won't do this again. Maybe I'll just change my job. Might just become like a caretaker or something, an undertaker.
You don't want to do that, mate.
Yeah, speaking from actual experience from you, probably not. Anyway, on that subject, guys, we're going to leave it there. So if you guys have got any questions, you always feel free to message either myself or Jake via Instagram or via WhatsApp. We are always here to help. And yeah, have an awesome week. Smash your week. And if you, like I said, if you struggle, come and chat to us, message us, do whatever you need to do. But we are here to help, okay?
Smash in. Have a lovely start to the week, guys. We will see you on Thursday for another episode of the podcast. Until then, as Lewis said, feel free to message us, get in contact however you want to. But have a lovely Monday. Have a good start to the week, and we'll see you on Thursday. Peace.